This is from the Daily Mail. So I have the standing rule, and you need to know. I have a rule. It has not disappointed me yet. It has not let me down. It has not failed me. Do not take seriously anyone who advertises their preferred pronouns. Don't do it. Do not do it. I have yet to meet any serious person who puts their sets their Twitter bio to announce their preferred pronouns. And this is worse. Susan Goldberg is the National Geographic editor, and she has added white, privileged, with much to learn in her email signature. She added the words on a June 6th newsletter emailed to readers, which invited them to participate in the magazine's Race Card project, which sees those featured sum up their experiences with race in 6 words. These aren't just binary conversations about black and white people. This quilt pulls in all manner of cultural threads, from Latino and indigenous people to Asians and Iranians. Now, wait a second. Aren't Iranians Asians? They are on the Asian continent. And indigenous people, what are indigenous people? I was born in the United States. Does that make me an indigenous person? Or is that just a fancy way to say a dark-skinned person without saying that? Huh? What is this? What's her race card, she says? White privilege with much to learn. Good grief. This is ridiculous. And what is the insufferableness of this? They're running these woke articles throughout June. Black boy, white world, perpetually exhausted. After a frightening encounter with police right before entering college, Isaias Mareta decided not to tell his parents, who had fled persecution in Ethiopia, but he discovered keeping quiet about the challenges takes a toll. I mean, they're basically highlighting the grievance community. All of these people with a grievance. One woman, I'm ashamed for my ancestors' race. Lindsay Lovell Heydrich was born in Arkansas. Her ancestors ran a small plantation in Georgia that owned slaves. When I try and bring things up or I try to criticize the South, it's never gone over great with my family. Oh, goodness gracious. Suck it up, people. Suck it up. Grow up. Stop being whiners. You live in the greatest country on the planet. Love it. It is Erick Erickson here. Delighted to have you with me. The phone number is 877-97-ERIC, 877-973-7425. We must go back to the, what's her name? Mara Gay. She's the New York Times editorialist. The New York Magazine has gone into damage control mode. She was on, I played the audio for yesterday. Let me see, because we didn't cut we cut some of it. Let me go back. Let me go to the soundboard. I can play some of this. You need to hear, this is her lamenting, venting, complaining about all these people who are flying flags. She's attacking people for flying the American flag. She doesn't like it. It is bad, according to her, that you might put a big pickup truck out there with a big American flag on it. I've been wanting to upgrade my Yukon. Okay. As an aside, I got a black vehicle. I've never owned a black vehicle in my life, but my wife and my children shamed me into getting a black vehicle, insisting that black is the coolest looking vehicle. And I got to tell you, I now like my black vehicle, but the local GM dealer I normally buy from has a fully loaded Yukon Denali, and it's silvery gray. It's kind of a smoky gray. I kind of like the color. But they're like, no, Dad, you've got to have a black vehicle. And I feel like I'm being peer pressured by my family to keep a black vehicle. But I want the fully loaded Denali. I want like the one that has the ultimate Denali package. And they don't have it in black. And I don't know what I'm going to do because it's time for me to upgrade my vehicle. Now, listen, I realize you're like, why do you need to upgrade your vehicle? You're an elitist. Well, actually, I drive an incredible amount in my car. I typically, every 3 years, put about 100,000 miles on my vehicle. Now, a little less right now because I didn't drive as much as the pandemic, but I'm trying to be proactive. I know that the value of my car right now is the resale value is more than what I owe on it, and I can swap out. And have you seen the new options in these things? They're incredible. I just like the bells and whistles and all the gadgets. And if I get one, I need to put on a giant American flag. Apparently, if you fly the American flag now, you're a racist. This is where the left is. And they've gone on this, it's very bizarre. Listen to some of this. I wanted to find the full context here so no one can accuse me of taking Mara Gay out of context. Again, she is a New York Times editorialist. This is her actual commentary.
Is a threat to our democracy to this moment.
I think that's right, Mika. I think this is another area where Democrats really need to get serious about talking about what this threat is. I think you said it really well, Joe, a minute ago, where you talked about the need to stop being surprised by all of this and start taking it seriously. You know, it's really concerning to me that the Democrats haven't just gone ahead at this point and said we're doing this on our own in terms of getting a commission together to explain to the American people how we allowed the insurrection to take place in the Capitol. I think that really needs to move forward swiftly. The reality is here that we have a large percentage of the American population. I don't know how big it is, but we have tens of millions of Trump voters who continue to believe that their rights as citizens are under threat by simple virtue of having to share the democracy with others. I think as long as they see Americanness as the same as one with whiteness, this is going to continue. We have to figure out how to get every American a place at the table in this democracy, but how to separate Americanness, America, from whiteness.
What? Do any of you connect Americanness to whiteness? And you know our response will be, well, you're a privileged white man, so of course you don't see it. The rest of us know you do. What the hell is this?
Until we can confront that and talk about that, this is really going to continue. I was on Long Island this weekend.
Listen.
Visiting a really dear friend, and I was really disturbed. I saw, dozens and dozens of pickup trucks with explicatives against Joe Biden on the back of them, Trump flags, and some cases just dozens of American flags, which is also just disturbing because essentially the message was clear. It was, this is my country. This is not your country. I own this.
This is my country. How is it a bad thing that people are flying the American flag? It's the wrong kind of people flying the American flag. There's a fundamental difference here. A lot of people on the left are defending this New York Times editorialist, saying she's right. These Americans and their big flags on pickup trucks saying it's my country. It's latent racism. They're Trump supporters. When George W. Bush was elected president of the United States, a great many people on the left said he wasn't my president. They said he wasn't really elected. They said this, shut up, Siri. They said he's not our guy. He's not our president. It's a stolen election. Then he was elected with majority vote, 51% of the vote in 2004, and he was still illegitimate. He was George Chimney McBush Hitler Halliburton. He was he looked like a chimpanzee. He was a stupid. He was Hitler-esque. He was owned by Halliburton. Dick Cheney had his arm up George Bush's rectum and moved him around like a Muppet. They couldn't legitimize him. When Donald Trump was elected president of the United States, they said the Russians stole it. When Brian Kemp was elected governor in Georgia, it was the Republicans suppressed the vote. Stacey Abrams was the legitimate one. And now they're like, oh my God, the Republicans don't want to accept the election. How dare they not accept the election? The left hasn't been accepted election since the year 2000. Hell, the left didn't accept Ronald Reagan as president. They thought he was going to destroy the country. It's funny how when the right plays the left's game, suddenly it's bad. But the left's been doing this all along. But there's a fundamental underlying difference here as well. I don't know a person on the right who loves or hates their country based on who's in charge. But I know a hell of a lot of progressives who thought the country was bad when Donald Trump was president of the United States. I know far more, and I got a lot of friends on the left and right. I try to be friends with people regardless of their politics. I know it's hard these days, but I got a lot of dear friends of mine who are on the left. But almost to a person, they were despondent about the United States when Donald Trump got elected. There were some of them did not feel like there were states they could go to safely, which in and of itself is nuts. I don't know a conservative who decided that this was a bad country when Joe Biden was elected. Conservatives who believe that Joe Biden was lawfully elected, they don't believe the election was stolen, but they don't hate the country. And now you've got progressives out there who, if they see people flying flags, they think it's bad. Remember, if you will, and you may not be able to, I was young at the time as well, but I distinctly remember there were op-eds in the New York Times and in Slate and various left-wing publications, maybe Salon.com after 9/11, where it was a woman writing, of course it was a woman writing, who was upset with the jingoistic display of American flags. The country had literally been attacked on American soil for the first time since Pearl Harbor. People were flying American flags, and this person was upset about the United States citizens flying flags, how jingoistic it was, nationalistic it was. The left is always upset about the American flag. They find different reasons to be upset about the American flag, and this ain't normal, folks. This is not a normal reaction. This is not a normal thing, and it happens all the time. The New York Times is now spinning Mara Gay, their editor, who's upset about Americans in pickup trucks flying the American flag. Say, New York Times editorial board member Mara Gay's comments on MSNBC have been irresponsibly taken out of context. Her argument was that Trump and many of his supporters have politicized the American flag. The attacks on her today are ill-informed and grounded in bad faith. But no. I played for you the audio, and I played it in full context, that there are Americans who identify Americanness based on whiteness. And there are Trump supporters putting up Trump flags and stickers, but also Americans flying flags from pickup trucks. She separated them out between Trump supporters and Americans, two separate classes in her mind. And now the New York Times say, oh, it's the Trump supporters politicizing the American flag. After 9/11, you had the New York Times running editorials from people upset with people flying the American flag. This is on them. It's not on you, and it's not on me. You know, I got a holly bush that's a holly tree, and it's not really trimmable. And if you saw it, you would understand. But whoever owned the house before us, they had their flagpole there, and as this holly tree has grown, it eats the flag. And I don't have a spot on my house now to put the flag in. I'm going to have to find one, and then I'm going to have a flag on the back of my GMC. I'm going to have to fly my flag everywhere. Fly it proudly. How is it racist to fly the American flag? You have this woman who's on the New York Times editorial board who says white people connect Americanness and whiteness, and then she's the one who connects the American flag to racism. In other words, she's projecting. By the way, if you want a sense of who this person is, this is also the woman who went on MSNBC blasting Mike Bloomberg for spending $350 million and losing, claiming he could have given, there are 350 million Americans, she said, and he spent $350 million. He could have given every American given every American $1 million. Now, I flubbed that, so let me say it again. I'll acknowledge it. I'm trying to find the audio, and I'm typing as I'm talking. Mara Gay, this New York Times editorialist who sees the American flag and ties it to racists, is the same Mara Gay who said that Mike Bloomberg spent $350 million on a losing campaign. There are 350 million Americans. He could give every American $1 million. No, actually, that would be $1 per American if there are 350 million, but she didn't realize that and said it. Now, I've made a similar mistake before, but I wasn't on TV prognosticating as an expert. See, is this the right clip? Let's see, where is this clip? I think this is the right clip, possibly the right clip.
Let's remember that the Congresswoman actually ran her campaign in part based on the idea that former Congressman Joe Crowley didn't really live in his district in all practicality and really hadn't spent enough time there. So this is a relevant question.
Right.
And, yes, the Post is conservative and they may not always be fair to her, but it's a fair question. And it's one I believe that she should respond to in kind and not just ignore press inquiries and then tweet at will on, about your comment. I mean, this is actually not the first time she's done this.
Does that remind you of someone?
It reminds me of two people. One would be Donald Trump and the other would be Mayor Bill de Blasio.
Oh my, no, I know what that clip was about. She was not defending AOC. She was not an AOC fan, running for Congress and not necessarily living in her district. I can't find the old clip of her and Bloomberg, though, but this is the woman who made that complaint about Bloomberg. That Bloomberg could give every American $1 million because he spent $350 million. This is a woman whose mind is made up on these things, and it makes no sense. When your mind is made up on crazy, that's a pretty damning indictment on those who then employ you to pontificate on affairs. So MSNBC puts her on television to tell people on the left what to think, and New York Times lets her participate in editorials where she tells people what to think, and people follow her lead. And now you've got the left out there defending her on the issue of the flag. You've got people actually putting up pickup trucks, pictures of pickup trucks on Long Island in New York with the American flag. There are no Trump stickers on these pictures. It's just American flags. They're like, see, this is what she's talking about, the racist. There's no rebel flag. It's an American flag. You know what they're mad about? It's Pride Month. And these people have sadly chosen to show their pride in America instead of their gay pride. And they would be okay if it was giant rainbow flags. They just don't like it that it's the American flag. It's triggering, you know. The American flag is triggering to these people. They don't particularly care for the country. And now they say, well, white people like America because they're racist. No, we like America because it is the last best hope for mankind. And they should appreciate they live in the greatest country on the planet. But they don't, because they're always angry about something. They can't ever be happy unless someone on the right got hurt.
Well connected and well respected.